Hey everybody, welcome back to the Planeswalker Coach channel. I'm your host, Paladin Robin. Folks, today we're going to be doing this Planeswalker review. This one is for Nicol Bolas Planeswalker, as you can see on your screen. This one is a very interesting Planeswalker. I think it's got a lot of flexibility to it, so we'll get into that. And before we do, however, I want to make sure that we thank Webcore for giving this Planeswalker to us so that we can do this review for you, and then you guys can have all the information you want in order to make an informed decision on whether you like this one or not. So thank you, Webcore. You guys are awesome to us as usual. Okay, so folks, let's get into it. The first thing I want to point out is this here, the life points, 135. That's a good amount. I think that's one of the sturdier planeswalkers. That's one of the ones that are stronger, a little more bulkier, and that's a really good number there. I think it's going to be able to take a lot of damage before you have to even worry. And in fact, I would say this is a little bit on the high side just because this is a really good planeswalker. Probably won't need 135 life points. You got the blue, black, and red. That usually helps you to get a lot of good things going. And you can take a look at these abilities. I'll show you each of them in a few moments, and you can see that there's a real good strength of this planeswalker, and it's really that this one is really good all around, and we'll find especially defensively. But anyway, it looks like a good amount here. Alright, let's take a look down here. These are the mana bonuses. We have +3 for the blue, +4 for the black, +4 for the red, and you have a -2 for the green and the white. Alright, so really good spread here. Nice spread. Alright, very cool. So let's start talking now about these abilities here. This first one is called Give Up Your Dreams for 10. Each player discards from their hand all cards that cost 15 or more. Draw 3 cards. Those cards gain X mana. X is a number of cards discarded this way. I think this is a nice ability. There are some offensive uses for this ability. Obviously, you'll get the cards that you want, and that'll help you to win games. But I think there are some really good defensive uses for this ability here too, right? So namely, your opponent is going to be discarding some of the more expensive cards in their hand. This is usually a good thing because those expensive cards, a lot of times those are good cards. Those are cards that take several turns in order to pay off. And if they're working on paying off those cards and then you hit this ability here, a lot of times they'll just take out all the mana that they've been spending on trying to save up for that one card, right? So it's a really good defensive ability. You can kind of read it here. What I would do is use this one with Shilgengar, Sire of Famine. That's a black card, a really interesting one. Basically, it corrupts gems, and if there are 3 or more corrupted gems, you can return the first creature from target graveyard to play under your control. So that's a good way to get free creatures using this first ability. You can kind of see the same thing going on with the infamous Cruel Claw. Kind of the same thing, get free stuff from the graveyard. Portal to Phyrexia, again, same thing, right? Free stuff from the graveyard. This is a really good one to discard stuff from your hand and then get it back for free with those cards that I just mentioned. Alright, let's take a look at this one here for 12, Bow Before Me. If you control 2 or less creatures, gain control of target opposing creature. That creature gains haste and menace. Otherwise, destroy target creature. This is an ability that we've seen before with other Nicol Bolas Planeswalkers. We see that we can get that ability to destroy target creature. That's something that we've seen from the first Nicol Bolas Planeswalker. So we see it again here. I like the little bit of a spin here where if you don't have 3 creatures already, you got 2 or less, you can take your opponent's card or your opponent's creature and use it on your side as opposed to kill it. That's a really good one too. I think that one is useful. In all, this is a cool ability. It's very useful. I like it. Now, I want to talk about this one. This one is for 30. Behold my mighty hand. Destroy all opposing cards. This effect can affect Vanguard cards. Drain all mana from your opponent's hand. Deal X damage to your opponent's Planeswalker. X is the number of cards destroyed in this way, including the reinforcements. This one I think is a good one that can lock down your opponent. Obviously, if you're destroying everything that your opponent has every turn and draining mana from their hand, they're going to pretty much be stuck. You're going to lock them down. They're not going to be able to win. I think I would use this ability with Steam Core Scholar. Steam Core Scholar is a really good one. It's basically whenever you draw a card, you raise the Steam Core Scholar's level by 1. And at the end of your turn, you gain X mana and gain X loyalty. X is, of course, the level of the Steam Core Scholar. So what I would do is play the Steam Core Scholar, build up that level until it gets to 30, and you'll be able to hit this every single turn, and that's going to lock down your opponent. So there's a lot of good ways to play that. You do a ton of draw, and that should get you there in no time. Alright folks, very cool Planeswalker, I think. Let's go take a look at the deck that I built for this one here. This one is called Aberration Avalanche, and the reason for that is this card here. This card gets really big and really nasty really quickly. At the beginning of your turn, this creature gets +X+X. X is the number of cards in your opponent's graveyard. At the end of your turn, destroy the top 2 cards of each player's library. Alright, so this one will get bigger and bigger. The size of this creature obviously will be correlated to the number of cards in your opponent's graveyard. So we want to make the opponent's graveyard as big as humanly possible, and this is how we're going to do it. The Mind Skinner. You can read it for yourself, and I'll read it for you here. It says, when a creature you control deals combat damage to your opponent's Planeswalker, your opponent gains X life. When your opponent loses life or is dealt damage, destroy the top X cards of your opponent's library. X is the damage dealt this way. So for those of you that have been paying attention to this channel, you'll see that this is a card that I spoiled in the spoiler season kind of a while back. And I like to use this one because it throws a ton of cards into your opponent's graveyard. And that's going to be really helpful, obviously, with the card that I just showed you, the Consuming Aberration. What we're going to try to do is throw a ton of cards into your opponent's graveyard straight off the top of their library. That's going to help this one get bigger and bigger, and that's really a great way to help you win this game. One of the things that I pointed out in the spoiler video that I did was that there's a little bit of a drawback, right, with this one. When you do damage to your opponent, they're going to gain X life. X is the amount of damage that you've dealt. So you're really going to want to make sure you have the Giant Cinderball. This is a really good card, especially with the Mind Skinner, because it says here players cannot gain life. So really, when you're going to be attacking, you're going to be doing damage, your opponent is not going to be able to gain the life that you see over here. So they're going to be taking damage, they're going to be moving cards from their library into the graveyard, and that's going to help you to get this guy really big and nasty. That's really the whole point of this deck. You got stuff like Domri Raid to help you get your creatures, a couple of other ones here to help you pay for stuff, and Bulk Up. That's a really good one to kind of finish off the game, hopefully. Just doubles the power of target creature. So we're going to buff them and make them real big and nasty. Alright guys, let's go look at some gameplay. Alright guys, let's see what we can do. Let's get ourselves going here. Obviously, we want to start off fast. We want to make sure we get that Mind Skinner. If we get that Mind Skinner out quickly, that's going to help us. Looks like we don't have a creature in the hand at this point, but we got some supports, and those are the good Cryptex ones that we want. That Cryptex, of course, is going to help us to get the mana being converted in our direction, and that's really good. Alright, Liliana of the Dark Realm. Okay. So we don't have the creature that we want. Mind Skinner's not yet in the hand. Oh, nice. That's really cool. But we're making some moves here. We're getting ourselves set up. This is really important because once we get the Mind Skinner, once we get those other creatures, we're going to be able to play them quickly. There we go. Nice cascade there just off of the free mana. Okay, let's go with this. That looks good. I'll tell you what, we'll go this. Alright, so we definitely need to make sure we get our creatures going. The way we're going to hopefully do that is draw them. If not, we're going to need to get our Domri Raid going. See, at this point, I do want to hit that creature here. But I tell you what, we'll go with this one. The reason is the comeback wrong. As you can see, I'll turn it off. Well, I'll turn it back on. This one doesn't do any damage, and the reason that those creatures are coming out is that they are making use of this ability here, right? If you have full life,
then you get to create those tokens. I'm going to use this here, obviously, to make sure they lose life. And then hopefully that's going to stop the flow of those tokens. Alright, go like this. Boom, hit that guy. And then they'll take 2 damage, and that's enough to stop the flow of those tokens for a little while, unless they're going to be able to gain some life there. Alright, no tokens. That's good. That's progress. Alright, comeback wrong is drawn. That's good. Now let's see what we have here. What I'm thinking, I'm going to hit this in a few minutes if I don't get my creature, but we'll see. Tell you what, we'll hit this first, because at least we'll take control of this one, save our spell there, and then hopefully, oh, I forgot to use the Vanguard, but hopefully that's going to help us to get some things going, keep lowering this guy's life. That's really important. We don't want him to put any more of those tokens out. Okay, Consuming Aberration. There we are. If we need a Domri raid, that'd be good. Go with this. Alright, cool. I'll tell you what, at this point, let's hit this. I want to make sure we get our cards. That's the fastest way that we're going to use to get what we want and win this game, so we might as well do it. There we go. We got a Mind Skinner ready. And we got some other things going too, so that's a really nice use of that ability there. And then you can see, really, this is an incredible Planeswalker that definitely can be considered one of the best Nicol Bolases that we have, and that kind of is saying a lot. Alright guys, we're looking okay. That was a well-timed use of that ability there. Alright, now we're starting to do some damage and starting to put some things into the opponent's graveyard. Alright, looking good. The opponent is able to play another card here, and look at that, we get a nice buff based on the fact that we have some good things going. We got those cards in the opponent's graveyard. At this point, I'm gonna hit this. Kind of still debating if I want to take over this creature or not. I'm gonna say no. We got a bunch of spells in the hand, and we don't want those to go to waste. Hit that there. Now let's see if I can pull myself a creature. There we go. Very cool. Alright, that's good. Now we're going to start doing some real serious damage. You can see the opponent is taking damage. That's going to throw cards into the graveyard. There you go. We got 35 in the graveyard. The Cinder Maw would be really nice right about now. But, oh gosh. They destroyed my Aberration. And that's not good. Just because that Aberration was going to get to be really big. Look at that, a top deck. That's real cool. Top deck is obviously when you draw the card that you want right off the top of the deck. Very cool there. It's always super helpful. There we go. Now the Cinder Maw is out. Starting to do some damage. There we go. There we go. More stuff into the graveyard. Alright, at this point, we're going to see if we can get our Aberration going again. There we go, another top deck. That's cool. Okay, folks. We're getting things going here. Tell you what, we'll give a nice big buff here to this guy. I really like that card, that bulk up. There we go, bulk up. And then you'll see what it does. This is the reason I really like that card. It's just because it does the damage that you need it to do by bulking up the creature, right? Making it twice as big as it would have normally been. And then you can see they take a big piece of damage and then some more damage. And they're going to have a ton of things in there. Look at that, 92 for the graveyard. That's going to give this guy a tremendous buff. And it's going to win it for us, really, on the next turn. Oh, no, it's not. Phyrexian Vindicator. You know what? That's fine, though. We're going to get our buff here. I say that's fine because we have some kill spells. Go like that. Wow. Very cool. This is a really good deck. And I really think this is a really good Planeswalker as well. This is one of those that it's one of the really interesting ones. I think there's a lot of good use for it. And you can see here, wow, there we go. Guys, this is the end of the game. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're gonna get some big time damage now. And yeah, that's the end of it. Like and subscribe, share with all your friends. It really helps the channel. And good gaming, guys.